There's a word in the Gospel of John that I think describes Ingrid. It's used for the Holy Spirit. It's the word paraclete, and it can be translated as encourager. And I think that's most of all what Ingrid is. She's an encourager. She's encouraged so many people, from the women at Genesis House, the prostitutes and addicts with whom she worked, from the students in the Chicago Urban Studies program whom she taught over many years, to now the clients with whom she works in the mitigation work that she does. She's an encourager. She brings hope.
What she has taught me is that there's a time to really speak up, and we just can't keep silence about things that are wrong in society or that are wrong in the lives of people. So I've seen time and again that she has been willing to have the courage to really say what needs to be said at a given time.
She has a lot of sympathy for the outsider, and I think that particularly motivates her in her work as a mitigator. And you know, when she was working at the ACM program, and after, I think she got very involved in volunteer work with prostitutes, sex workers on the street, and helping them. And I think that kind of you can't get much more underdog than prostitutes and people on death row. And I think that clearly motivates her.
One of the clearest memories I have of just watching Ingrid in service was on a very special day. It was the day that our client Leroy Orange was to be released from the Cook County Jail. He'd been wrongfully convicted and sentenced to death, and this was going to be the big day where he was getting out. And most people on the defense team were at home, getting changed into their suits, getting ready for what they were going to wear to show up at the release party where he was going to be coming out the prison doors. And I was with Ingrid, and she was downstairs in the basement of Division I of the Cook County Jail, getting Leroy situated with what he needed and talking to him through his fears about being released and what that was going to mean, and helping him put together the plan for what was going to happen next. It's a completely selfless act where she was thinking of him and thinking about getting him through that next piece of the transition, and not about what kind of the glory could be bestowed upon her for her involvement.
Ingrid has gone from touching lives on more of a wholesale basis to a more retail basis with the mitigation. I mean, she is, I think, in a lot of cases, the only person standing between this defendant and a death penalty, and that's a job I couldn't do. That's probably the toughest job there is, and so she's extraordinary at that. She goes in, she gets to know these key people, she campaigns relentlessly for them, she works on them, she is their lifeline, and it's a very, very tough job. So she touches people's lives extraordinarily in that job.
Ingrid saves people from death, and in that sense she extends God's healing work into the world, bringing life in places where no one would have thought life was possible. She renews our hope in God's life-giving purpose in this world.
Ingrid believes that of the dignity of every single human being, even people who have sort of been crossed the line, that society's forgotten, that they've thrown away, that's done something that most of us say is so bad that they're irredeemable. And she says, no, they're not irredeemable. And not only does she say that, and develop that in court, but she helps the client themselves forgive themselves and find some sort of way to be reunited and be a member of the human race.
She has really taken the life of Jesus as a model for her own life, where she's willing to go places that other people wouldn't go, invite people to dinner that other people wouldn't want to sit down with. And I see this time and time again in her work, both with just individual people, but also as a witness to the larger church and to the larger culture. I just think she's a person of deep integrity and faith, and this comes to her from her faith in God.